Imagine sending your child to a school with multiple attacks a year by Boko Haram, a major terrorist group that has a history of attacking and kidnapping many students from many different universities, and also many other groups. Then not being able to go to anyone for help because they can't figure out who the security are. Then terrorists are overhearing their conversations without them even knowing. This is a very big problem that needs a solution, and that's where we come in. I am Bryson Severo.
I'm William Batkin.
I'm Gabriel Menendez.
I'm Maziar Bayrami.
I'm Tommy Heffernan.
I'm Richard Nimshira, and we're Team Airforce.
Here we have a SWOT analysis of Yobe State University. Strength-wise, Yobe State has an experienced employee base of security officers that they work with, who are also functioning members of the community who have a strong stake in it as well. Additionally, the security forces have informants in the surrounding villages. Weakness-wise, they do not have lethal or non-lethal weapons per the government. They lack safe and secure forms of communication over the walkie-talkies with other guards, and that only 20 of the 150 members of the guard force have uniforms, so 87% cannot be identified by the students. Opportunity-wise, though, the walkie-talkie system allows for a code system to be implemented for more effective, safe, and secure communication. Threat-wise, Boko Haram terrorist group, which has a history of kidnapping, raping, and killing high school and university students, is the largest threat, as well as corruption, theft, and farmers and armed bandits as well.
So when it comes to problems, there's two major problems on the university. One is their Boko Haram's ability to infiltrate their communication. So in response, we have basically set up a system of code words that can be used to deter Boko Haram's ability to actually access the security personnel's communication. Our other solution deals with basically the problem that only 20 of the 150 security personnel on campus have uniforms. So the vast majority of students and faculty cannot identify who is a security guard. And our solution to deal with that is armbands.
And for the advantages of our first solution, this solution of armbands will increase identification of security personnel so that students and other security will be able to identify and tell information to the right people. And for the cost, this is a much cheaper replacement solution to buying full uniforms for the entire team. And here is actually an example of one of our armbands. It includes the logo of the university as well as the number to keep track of them.
So when it comes to basically the downfalls of the armbands, one is that Boko Haram could impersonate a security guard by accessing their own armband and by making it. And another downfall would be the expense. So essentially the armbands are expensive, right? The university is not going to be able to replicate them throughout the year if they do lose them. So they are very valuable and they need to be kept in a safe place.
We are getting 82 armbands from a local leadership initiatives business partner in Nigeria. The guards will wear their armbands while on shift. Once they finish their shift, they will hand their armbands to the next shift, allowing the armbands to rotate through shifts and remain at the university all time. We also are implementing a sign in and out sheet for the armbands. The guards, when they start their shift, they sign in, which they already do, but they will put the number of the armband that they get. Then when they come to leave, they put that they're putting the armband back. This will allow the university to keep track of the armbands and know who has them and when and where they have them.
So some advantages of having armbands are that they could keep the campus safe so that no terrorists can infiltrate the security force and pretend to be the security officers and help other terrorists sneak in and help pull off more attacks. And since the code words are training based, that they cannot be impersonated by terrorists by just walking in and saying a random code word through the walkie-talkies. Though there are some risks in the code word system because the codes could leak to the Boko Haram, and someone could also use the wrong code and help the terrorists by saying that there's an intruder on the campus when there's actually someone just approaching the campus and they are suspicious.
Okay, so our plan for the implementation of code words into the Yobe State security system is going to be a series of training exercises that include the simulate use of code words, simulated scenarios, and drills that will require the memorization of these code words. During the training, we have constructed a series of practice code words so that the real code words cannot be known or likely guessed beforehand. In addition, we have developed a packet for the university that will help them better understand the implementation of these code words. And then these are some examples of how the code words will be used in training and in a real life scenario. So for example, 1, you are at the north wall and you see a suspicious vehicle driving at the wall. What would you say over the walkie-talkie? Which code word? So for this example, you might say code 4, which means suspicious activity at the north wall. And then for a real life scenario, example 1 says, oh, there's an immediate threat in the boys' hostel. So you would say, there's a code line in the boys' hostel.
Our plan is first purchasing 82 armbands from the local business partner in Nigeria. These armbands will allow students to easily identify security, and so students will know exactly who to communicate suspicious activity or any information to. Our second part of our plan is to implement the code word system as well as the armbands. The code words will allow the guards to communicate without the fear of information being intercepted or lost. And our last step of our plan is to teach the code word system to the guards, which we saw in the last 2 slides.
We have been given a $500 budget. Of that budget, we plan to only use $499 or 204,908 Nigerian naira to buy 82 armbands, with each armband costing 2,500 naira or $6.08. And we have set up a deal where they will be purchased from a local Leadership Initiatives business partner and then printed and delivered to the security force, allowing for both increased security and keeping money within the community. Our code word solution does not require any funding.
Throughout these 2 weeks, we have gotten to speak with Umar and the security team of Yobe State University and presented these solutions to them, where they let us know how much they really love them, which shows us that going back to the student at the beginning of the presentation, they will now be able to get the education they were initially there for. If you have any further questions, we would love for you to reach out to us with any of our information here. Thank you.
You guys have really done a great job. I always focus on the problem and the solution to that problem because that's my biggest concern about every team's presentation. And you guys started with a SWOT analysis, and a SWOT analysis is actually a very strong tool that leads you to gather the facts and the issues or the challenges facing the security department. And you guys were able to identify so many things that I think it's really interesting. So, and your pictures actually speaks, because we have seen that some of the security guards, they have uniforms, and some of them they don't. And how can you actually identify someone who is in personnel all the time as a security person? So this is very challenging, I know, for the students. Whenever they see something, they don't know who to relate it to, because they will start looking for someone who has a security uniform. So, but coming up with the solution for the armband, it's actually a very smart idea, because you have, with the limited resources, with the limited budget, you are able to come up with something that can actually make a student or a staff to identify a security personnel. That's really a smart thing to do. And even with that, you added a code words. I know the security department are dying to actually start making use of the code words because it's one of their weaknesses, that they really want to have a standard way of communicating with their staff. And you guys did not just kind of like give them like a code words, but you have created a system where I think that system can work for them anytime they feel like, okay, we are going to change these code words. So, but this is how we're going to consider the code words. So your table has actually explained exactly how they should manipulate the code words and how they should actually change it into their own terms. So this is really a very, very incredible idea. And your idea is entirely different with any other team, which is also interesting. So I really appreciate you guys working hard. I've gone through your presentation. I don't see any criticism. I don't see anything I can criticize your team because you have really, really done a wonderful job. So I'm really proud of your team, all of you, for all the hard work and for putting your talents to make this solution a great one. And I can't wait to see how far this solution is going to help the security department at UVA State University. Rusty.
Umar, thanks very much. I want to echo some of the things that Umar said, because I think you did a terrific job in coming up with your proposals and then building them into things that if I hadn't listened to them as many times as I had, I would still be able to understand what you were talking about and the flow. So good job on all those things. I think Umar and I both agree about how important the concept of the armbands are. I mean, because, well, there's several reasons. First is because it does allow the students and the faculty to identify when they would not otherwise be able to identify the security force. Secondly, it allows the security force to see who's part of their team. And to the extent that they're not able to provide uniforms for every one of the guards at this point, this is a terrific solution to solve some of that problem. The other thing I would say to you is that that having this kind of identification allows the security guard force to feel a part of this larger organization that they're in. And so all of those things make that particular solution not only a good one, but a good idea for you to have come up for them. I like also the second proposal that you have on the code words for all the reasons that we think they're of value, but also because it doesn't cost anything. It's adding value to what the security guard force does without requiring any sort of money to be spent, which requires creativity on your part. Your customer here is the guard force at UOB State University. Their customer is the students, the faculty, and the staff, and your two proposals are going to help them look good to their customers. And you know how important I think that is for any security endeavor, because most people look at security as a problem, as telling them things that they have to do, is not providing anything of value. Well, you've provided them with two things that I think are going to be of real value to them and how they carry out their operation and how their customers see them. So good. The last thing I would say to you is what I was very pleased to see, and that is I liked your slides. Oh no, one more thing. Sorry, Bill. One more thing. I like the flow. I like the flow of talking about the threat, moving through that, and then the excellent discussion you had of how you're going to implement the code word program itself. Okay, Bill, all yours.
Thank you, Rusty. I agree with Rusty and Umar. I think it was an excellent solution, strong, clear, convincing solutions. I was very, very pleased with that's probably the highlight of it. I really like the way at the end that William explained the solution and the implementation and the training. Bryson, great introduction. You have a nice, calm introduction. And Mazir, excellent SWOT analysis. Tommy, you had a good explanation of the problem and introducing the solutions. Bryson, again, you covered critical aspects of identification and cost of the armbands, and of course, the lower cost in this area is important. Tommy, and I like is you brought up the disadvantages and you had mitigation for those. That's excellent. Again, back to when William was presenting, an implementation included additional controls to be able to secure the armbands, and I remember handing them off from one shift to the next. Richard did a good job of explaining the code words and mitigating the risk there as well. And Gabriel, nice job on explaining the training for the security forces. Overall, I mean, seriously, as everybody else has said, the strengths of your solutions, and I really liked when you concluded and you said that, again, I'm back to Bryson here, that it was, you know, the security forces at the university accepted the solution. So it's a credit to you and everybody on the team. What a great solution it was, and it was a great presentation. Thank you all very much.